Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at 10 PlayStation 5 games that haven't gotten as much love as they really should.
I am Groot. Awesome. Cool.
Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Immortals: Fenyx Rising. While things with Ubisoft have been noticeably rocky in terms of quality, Immortals: Fenyx Rising got unfairly lost in the mix of mediocrity. If anything, it was perhaps the most original and imaginative game Ubisoft has put out in some time. Sure, it's another game set in Greek mythology, but the world design, enemy variety, and humor made the game fairly enjoyable.
Zeus! I am the one telling the story!
You can't start the trailer that way!
Don't interrupt my narration!
The expansions also tacked on practically entirely new games. Is it perfect? No. But for what it is, Immortals is a ton of fun, and on PlayStation 5, it can run at a smooth 60 frames per second. It is worth a shot for just about every type of player.
May the light of 1,000 forges guide your way.
Bugsnax.
Come join me on the island of Bugsnax.
Wow. That's your new lead?
During the launch of the PlayStation 5, two games dominated the zeitgeist: Demon's Souls and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Bugsnax was unfairly swept under the rug alongside another title we'll get to soon. And it's a real shame because this was a fun and lighthearted adventure game.
You can catch Bugsnax and bring everybody back to Snacksburg.
The writing wasn't as solid as it could have been, but running around to catch all of the Bugsnax while solving clever puzzles was what made this game so entertaining. Plus, the game received a free expansion that added new mechanics and story elements to the game. If you haven't already, you really should give Bugsnax a go. Chorus. The way I described this game to the rest of the MojoPlays team was this: think Star Fox, but as an open-world game where you never leave your cockpit. That is exactly what Chorus is. Venture across the galaxy to gain new weapons and discover temples that can grant you new abilities. And if you're one of those lore hounds, well, there's plenty of lore to learn here for better or worse.
Will we finally hunt the circle?
Yes. I'm done running.
Those looking for a game that lets them be the space pilot they've always wanted to be will find solace in Chorus. We only wish it sold well enough to get a sequel.
The time has come to strike.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was just, checking to see if everything was okay. And it is. Okay.
I am Groot.
The 2020 abomination that was Marvel's Avengers really set Guardians of the Galaxy up for failure, and unfairly so. Because of how similar they looked, many wrote off Guardians as another potential disaster from Square Enix. So, no one bought it.
Really?
This is an affront to democracy.
On the contrary, this game is way better than it was given credit for. Even if the humor can be hit or miss for some, the combat and level design is far more creative than what we saw in Avengers, not that that bar was high enough to begin with. And it is best experienced on PlayStation 5.
So did I miss anything?
Solstice. Solstice may very well go down as one of those severely underrated games of this generation, maybe even hit cult classic status. Caveat emptor, this is not another Souls-like. Don't let the visuals tell you what this game should be. What Solstice really is an old school hack and slash game, much like the old days of God of War and Darksiders 2. That said, you can expect that this game is also freaking intense. Like, the game is just as hard as the aforementioned games, and the visuals go even harder.
Show us what you got!
Seriously, just get through the first hour and you can see how unbelievable this game truly is.
You must resist it!
Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Like Bugsnax, Sackboy's latest outing was also shoved aside in favor of dark fantasy worlds and superheroes. Though it isn't a traditional Little Big Planet title, Sackboy: A Big Adventure was kind of the shot in the arm the IP needed. Rather than traverse on a 2.5D plane, the game plays much more like Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World. Levels are built in a somewhat linear path, but they give the player enough freedom to explore, find secrets, and the like. As for controls, Sackboy handles beautifully, so much so that you will want to grab every secret and earn the highest rank possible in the time trial runs. And if our praise doesn't sweeten the deal, there are a plethora of free DLC costumes to dress up Sackboy as various PlayStation characters. Deep Rock Galactic. Funny enough, Deep Rock Galactic has been a relatively quiet success since it launched in early 2022. If you're a fan of games with great physics and destructible environments, you may have found your next dose of dopamine. Deep Rock Galactic has you and your friends venture through cave systems to either retrieve resources or find a malfunctioning machine to fix up. From there, your cooperation and expertise in the character classes will determine whether you succeed or not. Yes, it can get addicting, especially if you can convince some friends to try the game out with you. Tormented Souls. Tormented Souls is one of those games that does and doesn't feel like it's talked about enough. It certainly deserves your attention if you're into horror games.
I feel something lurking around in the dark.
Between the environments and enemies to the level design and puzzles, everything here is a wonderful tribute to the classic survival horror games of old. While it does retain some of the problems of those games, what it does right is done so well that it's a bit easier to ignore the flaws. And with a sequel on the way, there is no better time to jump into this game.
Everything will be alright, I promise. I won't let anything bad happen to you.
Marvel's Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns was and still is unfairly dismissed by many today. For some reason, there is just some weird bias against card games all of a sudden. If you are one of those folks, you are refusing to let yourself enjoy a truly fantastic game. Midnight Suns is excellent in how it both limits you in what you can do, while also giving you enough freedom in taking down enemies to make awesome plays. Every hero and every villain featured here is given a ton of love in their personality, animation, and playstyle, and it shows how much developer Fireaxis, yes, that same studio behind Civilization, loves Marvel in almost any game they work on. And that DLC was way, way better than we anticipated.
Good work.
Returnal.
This is Celine. I've crashed on Atropos. I survived, but Helios did not.
Now, we can understand why Returnal might have put some folks off. The game was an enigmatic mess at launch, causing all sorts of random problems for people. But now that there have been some fixes in place, we can say for certain that Returnal is well worth your time and money. The gunplay is immensely satisfying, and you're constantly having to make tough decisions on whether you should grab a parasite that buffs and debuffs you, or if you should risk picking up a corrupted item. On top of that, you have enemies that will constantly push your limits, and a brilliant story that touches upon some dark subject matter. Every PS5 owner needs this game. This is the must-play, guys.
There's no comfort here, no safe space, and the astronaut keeps following me.
What do you believe is the most underrated game on PlayStation 5? Did it make our list? Let us know down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more PlayStation greatness.